Here we go.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in.
Yes.
Hey, it's been a minute.
Yes, we
It's
are
been a minute.
live
Yes.
for another episode of Love and Business
Yes,
for the
yes.
first time in several weeks
Glad
here.
to be back. Glad to be
Absolutely.
back. I
We
kind of
are
missed it.
happy to be here. We also need you to do us a great favor, and we need you to hashtag live if you're watching live. Tell us where you're watching live from. We'd also like you to share with your friends.
Please.
Yes. Yeah, so we can have ourselves a good time. Oh, we got to stop that. I can hear that.
Yeah, I can hear too.
You know how to disable it?
Uh, I'm
No.
sure. Yeah, I'm sure I can figure it out. Would you like for
To
me
hit
to?
the to turn it off?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna need to do that. You can turn it off.
All right, sure. I'll go and do that.
Yep. What's up? I see Sissy's on here. Thank you. Yes, it feels really good to be back. We're super excited to have yet another episode of Love and Business to share some insights, some exciting things, some feedback from our vacation here. We still have a lot going on, I will say, but we wanted to do the podcast, so I'm super excited to be able to do that. We got a lot of activity and movement in the house today. We got a house full of folks, so LeMoine is gonna go help us to turn that door chime off because we got about 100 people walking in and out of our house, and we don't want y'all to hear that the whole time we going on. But yeah, man, we've had quite an exciting month of June, and I'm kind of sad that my month of travel is now over with, but we got a little bit more coming up this month. But man, it was just absolutely amazing to be able to just kick back, relax, and enjoy some much needed family time, some much needed relaxation, some much needed um, uh, just enjoyment, man. You know, me and LeMoine got an opportunity to take um, a couples trip at the end of June, early June. We were where did we go early June? Oh, we did a camping trip, or we call it, they call it glamping, right? We did an early June trip where we went in the woods and hung out in the RV for a couple days. We were literally right next to a lake um, for I think it was 3 days where we just hung out in the RV and enjoyed nature. We cooked outside on the grill, you know, just kind of kick back. And I haven't had the opportunity to do anything like that in a while, and so it was really cool to just disconnect from the world. And then after that, I think our next trip was Tampa. Man, we got to hang out in Tampa for um, about a week. It was absolutely beautiful in Tampa. The weather was amazing. The camaraderie there was amazing. And so we have really been on the move. And then here, our last trip was Antigua, which I'll have to wait on Lemoyne to come back for us to drop, you know, all of the information that we we were able to gather there at Antigua with an amazing group of people. I hope some of them are actually able to join us on the podcast here in a little bit. But we went on a what was it, the marriage getaway in Antigua with about, I think it was 11 other couples. And that was just an absolutely amazing experience at the end of June there. So we've had a lot of travel. You was able to figure it out? No, you got it. Yeah.
See,
Either that or they just quit going in and out of the doors.
but I ain't do that.
Oh, okay. I didn't. I heard a lot of chiming. But I was just giving everybody a recap of uh of our month of June. You know,
It was a
a,
lot
a
going on.
full full month of travel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so yeah, Antigua for me was the favorite, I would think, of all of the vacationing that we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed Antigua.
Yeah. I did it too. I think I enjoyed the people
Yeah, absolutely.
more than anything. You know,
Yeah,
like the just the camaraderie or just the uh, likeness.
yeah.
Um, when we start talking about, yeah, I don't know.
Go ahead, do what you need to do. It's the is that the one that was on this side? You need to mute it. Yeah, that's yours. I can still hear that. This yours right here.
All right, we're good. Now just
You gonna hang it like that?
yeah, because I'm not finna keep fidgeting with it.
I don't like that
It is
thing.
what it is, man.
Yeah. Or you could just take it off and hold it like a real mic. Hmm. You sure?
Yeah,
All right, cool. Yeah. So you were saying the people,
I can't.
and
You muted me or something.
that's it. There you go. That's what you want. You can't hear.
Can you hear me? Yeah, there we go. All
Yeah, I
right, there.
can. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I forgot what I was saying. Just go ahead,
You
carry
said
on.
the people in Antigua. That was your favorite part of the trip.
Oh yeah, yeah. Just yeah, to continue to connect, with to get away for one, just to kind of break away from the monotony or just everyday, run. Um, but to be able to be around other individuals that value some of the same things that we valued from a foundational standpoint, I think
Yeah.
that created because that creates better conversation, because we can, uh, uh, we can relate on different levels, from
Mm,
kids to in-laws to just having conversations as it relates to just marriage in general.
mm,
Just look, wanting to even we can appreciate it the same because we may all be in the same um, circle as it relates to what we're doing in life, so to speak. Young professionals just growing and maintaining things from a work life balance, and
yeah.
there's just look, we can appreciate it a little more uh because everybody's about in the same stage where they just like, hey, yeah,
Yeah.
hey, I got kids at the house too, I had to get
Yeah.
babysitter, so it's different when you can dialogue about those things, and that the people that you're talking to, it's a good chance that they understand what you're saying,
Yeah. For me, it was refreshing because we don't get to hang really, with
right, we
yeah,
don't.
with
And
usually
most
it's
of
it's
yeah.
some business related. What's up,
What's
Bridget?
up, B?
Yeah,
Yeah.
usually we doing something business related all the time or whatever, and so I think it's for us it was just super refreshing to to be around people that like you said that were like minded. I think is what was most important is like the people that we were with, they were on the same level, and we don't when we're in our businesses, we're functioning as business owners, we're not necessarily just on a full blown kickback, but we literally got to kick back with people, and just have everyday conversations,
Right.
with people that were like us. And we just, I mean, I don't know if we've ever,
Yeah. It's
experienced anything like that, before.
yeah. No. It was definitely different. It was needed. I appreciate it. And really looking forward to doing it again.
Yeah, man. I need to go and pay
Probably
that
sooner
deposit
than
for the
I would say
for the
sooner
for
than
the
a year.
cruise. But yeah, I think we need to figure out a way. Maybe we could get Quest. If we could get Quest fired up, I think we can at least
Yeah,
have
we
like
can
a
get it
midway
going.
mark
Right.
meetup, which we had like a little semi meetup. It turns out that it was a lot of couples that was on this particular trip that were from Louisiana. We
Yeah.
had no clue. Hey, what's up,
Yeah. Hey,
Dante?
what's going on, DC? Yeah.
Yeah, and so man, this was just for us. I will say, I think that particular trip, it was like Tampa set us up, because Tampa was like some pleasure, some business, and then we flow straight from Tampa like super fired up, ready to go in business, and then we go and do this major kickback over here in
Right.
Antigua, and it was like, man, this is like, I told him, I told him on, I feel like we found our next mastermind crew.
Listen, man, and that's what
Yeah,
I'm talking
I,
about.
I
It
think
was
we
the
found our
energy was
mastermind
just
crew.
so fire, and what I really realized, like in those conversations, like how important it is for the people that you like, that you really do hang around with, like that
Hmm.
you do life with. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because I've always heard people say, you hang with five broke people, you will be the sixth. Or if
Hmm.
you hang with 10 wealthy people, you'll be the 11th, or
Yeah.
whatever it may be. You hang with seven divorced people, you will probably be the eighth,
Yeah.
because the conversations are different.
Yeah.
I think about, even when we were on the trip, there was a couple that they were having some problems with their luggage.
Mm.
And one of the things was like, I mean, not one of the things, but one of the things that we discussed was like, hey, okay, they lost their luggage, and they literally lost their luggage for the entire trip.
I know, man.
Right, the
That
entire
sucks.
trip. It was like 5, 6, 7 days, whatever it was. They had no luggage, like none. They having to go to the gift shop and going out town, in this, you know, place where they driving on the left side of the road.
Oh man.
And
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God. The
man,
driving.
uh, but it was like, it was like, man, being able to, you hanging around these individuals, and things like that. But the conversation comes up like, well, how do you handle it with the airline, right? Do
Mm,
you just blow up on the airline? Do you blow up on, like everybody finna get it? Like I'm about to go in that thing like the Terminator with
yeah.
the
I wanted to
with the
give it to the
spinning
airline
gun,
for them, man.
But because of the people like that you hang around, it's like, hey, listen, say that energy for somebody that can really make a difference.
Yeah.
Don't even go blow up on the person, on the gate agent, because they limit of authority is maybe $200. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? So now you about to go over here and just go ham on this person,
And they already
and
maxed out
they
before you
already
even
maxed out
talk
at
to them.
200 when your luggage was, $2,000 worth of stuff in it. You know what I
Right.
mean? So it's like, but if you with the wrong people,
Oh yeah.
if you with the wrong people, they go buck you up. They go buck you up to go over there and exhaust yourself, wasting all that
Like, let's
energy.
go back to the
You know what I'm
airport
saying?
right
Let's
now.
exactly. Let's right now. We finna blow up on everybody. This person just got finished eating their black beans and rice. Don't know nothing about your luggage. They didn't put it on the plane or whatever. But the point is, the people you hang around matter.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, the people
Yeah.
you hang around matter, because that can influence a lot of your decisions. A lot of times what we do, especially on a job or something like that, it's like we always want to know what we're gonna make, but
Hmm.
it should be more about what we're going to become
That's good.
versus what we're going to make from the
Absolutely.
job, right? Because our becoming is way more influential and impactful than the money that we're going to make in that moment, because
Mm.
that just may be a season that you're rocking with that job just to maybe learn something,
Yeah.
right? So that you can go out and start setting forth on your own. But we don't ask ourselves that question when we are hanging around our friends. Like, what am I becoming? Am I
Mm.
becoming a bar hopper?
Well, Joel says he felt like we was
What,
a herd of
what is
wildebeest.
hanging out with
He said, "What can't we do?"
for
You know what I'm
real?
saying?
For real.
I really felt that too, Joel. Like I felt like it was almost like I don't know if I felt like the Avengers in this thing,
For
man.
real.
Like it was everybody in there had their own superpower.
Everybody,
Like
man. Yeah.
everybody was smooth as something, and like nobody was intimidated by the
But
next group.
nobody,
By the next
exactly.
couple. It was like it was just the word I keep using is refreshing, because it
Yeah.
was like I came back like, man, that was so cool. And it's weird because now we at least message in this little WhatsApp group chat like
Yeah. Like
every
every
day,
day, man. It's
with
a
this
whole
group.
new, yeah.
Yeah, because we just bonded so well with them, and it was just being around people that were aspiring to be more and do more,
Right.
have more, just good, genuine people. And I man, I'm like you. We need to do that like once a quarter.
For
So we
real,
need to get
man.
with Quest and figure out, how we can do this more
Well,
often.
that's what I mean. But what happens is because you start to get that exposure, you're not necessarily that there's other people out there in the world that's like, what I'm saying, that's driven, that's wanting
Yeah.
to do more, that's seeking for more, that has a family that they love, have a spouse that they love, that
Mm.
they cherish their marriage, and they want to do something better. It's like, man, the opportunity starts to come up more because you're like, oh, we really can't do life with these people. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like I can't tell you how many text messages I've gotten from one of the guys on the group that's like, hey, this the spot, like this the man, we
David
gotta
right
check
there,
this out.
bro. He
Yeah,
said Fiji is
yeah,
looking good.
absolutely, man. Fiji
You
is looking
know, that's what I was like,
phenomenal.
man. I was so inspired from leaving from that trip. I was like, where can we go
Man,
next?
for
Like, I'm
real.
like plan another trip,
Like, let's do it.
and it wasn't just to go plan the trip to just go and do nothing, but it was, just to I really do believe that there's power, in being around like-minded
It
people,
is 100%.
in being around people that aren't draining to you, that aren't leeches, that aren't necessarily looking, to receive something from being in there, but like everybody had something to give,
Absolutely.
which kind of is obviously a segue into what you wanted to talk about today, which is having the right type of people,
People, and you're right.
in your environment.
It creates a whole new like pathway in your brain, man. Because a lot of times we think that we are the anomaly. Right, we be in circumstances and we like, man, and if I look back at maybe the town that I grew up in and things like that, there's nothing wrong with my hometown. Hazelhurst, I bleed maroon and white. Okay, Hazelhurst,
My blood
Indians.
still red.
But the majority of the population is, they're flat.
Yeah.
They okay with being where they are.
Yeah.
So it's hard to go back and have a conversation or to do things with individuals that you may have, grown up with. There are a few, there are some that you can, but there's a lot of them, the majority you can't, right? It's going to be a very surface level conversation. We're not talking about acquiring no assets. We're not talking about the kids. I mean, the kids and the developmental things that we're doing to help our kids, or anything like that. Like that's not part of the conversation. We're not talking about long-term vision and planning and coming up with different ways to help the community and things like that. We're not talking about that.
Yeah.
We may be talking about Johnny Bridges down here still selling cans.
Oh.
You know what I mean? It may be something like that, and that's not that. Like, we're beyond that. It's like I saw this post or read it or something, but it said, the tree and the grass both started on the same level. They both started from the ground, right? One continued to ascend and the other maxed out where it was at. But that doesn't mean that I have to then go back to be grass again, to go grassroots, right? So understanding like, hey, what does this look like, man, for us to be able to have conversations? And when you get around other individuals where you can have those conversations and genuinely flow, and that it's like, hey, man, like, this is a possibility. You don't have anybody that's killing the dream.
Right.
You know what I mean? Nobody that's like, oh man, how you go do that? You talking about being able to fund this?
It was literally
an apartment complex.
It was mind blowing that here we are. I don't know. I don't remember the count. I want to say it was like 11 couples. I think.
Yeah, I think it was 22 people, 22 or 24.
It was something like that. But let's just say it was 11 couples. Now, I'm gonna be flat out transparent because this our podcast, so I get to say what I want to say. But I'm gonna tell you, it's sometimes where your girl will go ghost on you. Do you hear me?
100%.
And LeMoine will be looking left and right, and 2 hours later he'd be like, "Crystal, where you went?" I left, because this wasn't the room for me. Like, you was over there entertaining that conversation and I was tired of it. Yeah. I did not feel like that at all. The entire time we were there, it was man, just, we met some dope couples, man. We really did meet some dope people, and it gave me hope, because we have been out here in these streets together, for a minute, where we only really had each other to, talk about anything in life. You know what I'm saying? It didn't really matter whether it was business, whether it was relationship, money stuff, like whatever the case may be. It's just, it's just been us in these conversations. And sometimes I don't want to talk to him all the time.
I
agree. What I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sometimes I need, I need a fresh voice to kind of come in, and it's like, there's not, there wasn't much access, I'll say, to people, or at least we hadn't found our particular tribe in that way, before now. And that's why I keep saying that it was so refreshing, because it was at no point in time in any of these conversations where I was just like, man, hey, LeMoine, you ready to go? Right, you ready to go? Right. I ain't sending no text messages. Be like, hey, time to go.
Man, so much so, like, we
ain't use the code word or nothing.
Look, we ain't use the code word at all. At all. But we was trying to recreate it. Like, we was trying to get couples together here at our house for the 4th, because it was like, man, this energy was outstanding. It was phenomenal. You know what I mean? Like, these are people, like, we were just able to kick back, man. But being around or being and being intentional about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, being intentional about making sure you keep fostering that energy, because sometimes we just feel like, hey, it is what it is.
That's funny that we're not the only couple that has a code word.
Man.
Hey, I think it's important as a couple to have a code word, because that could be a quick argument, right? Already. Like, you ready to go, but he ain't ready to go, or he is ready to go, but he don't know how to communicate it.
You need that code word.
You in the spot where it's kind of one of them situations where you can't necessarily say, hey,
Yeah, I ain't even feeling. I ain't
let's
even feeling
go.
that conversation. We got to go. Yeah,
Hey, man.
you're
So,
right. You're right.
yeah,
It can be a look.
sometimes it can be a look. You're right.
When it get to the look phase for us, it may be too late. It may
Yeah,
be too late.
yeah,
Like we
man.
got to
We
go
we
ahead.
did not dispatch the code word,
No,
and
not at
I'm
all,
I'm
man.
super grateful for it. But
Yeah,
I'm even more grateful to know, that those environments do exist, because when we were doing a podcast with Quest, at the getaway,
yeah,
I talked about how 10 years ago we had read the book. So for the first time, I had read Think and Grow Rich, and they
oh
talked
yeah,
about
yeah,
doing masterminds and things of that nature. And I was geeked, man. When after I finished that book, I was like, I'm gonna be rich. Like I
yeah,
just
yeah.
like I felt like,
She
you know
came
what
with
I'm
that
saying?
same
Like I was
energy.
like, we about to be rich, man. Like I just knew after I finished reading that book that it had the keys to everything that I needed
Yeah,
to know to execute this plan. I didn't know what the plan was.
at
I just
all,
I
at
just knew,
all.
that this whatever was gonna happen.
Yeah,
But I did. I executed the strategy that was in the book, right? So that particular year, I had wrote down on our plan that I wanted to make an extra $15,000,
yeah,
right? And sure enough, within the time frame, we had made an extra $15,000 that particular year. But the book also talked about creating a mastermind group. And so I had got super excited because I didn't read this stuff for the first time in my life. I'm like, this is the key. We got the code. We about to go out here and break down every barrier and wall. Well, I went and typed up this nice little letter, little email, and I asked LeMoine, I was like, hey, who you think we should send this to? I was like, I think I got a couple people. You get a couple people, we're gonna get a group. I don't know how many people we said, but I would
yeah.
say at most we probably send it to about 10 people.
Maybe.
Like we
Yeah.
had scrapped up about 10 good people that we felt like should be in this particular mastermind group. Like we was trying to cultivate the environment that we wanted to be around us, because
Right.
that's what the book told us to do. Like, hey, create a mastermind, get some cool people around that's on the same trajectory. So at the time, we said, hey, these look like some folks that's
Right. Right.
gonna go somewhere or do
They on the
something.
launching pad. Let's
Maybe,
do
I
it.
don't know, but let's figure it out. And man, I crafted the best email and I'm good at writing,
I
man.
know
Like
this
like
was prior to Chat GPT.
oh, this is
This is
prior
yeah.
to Jack.
She really was thinking about
Hey
this.
man, I had put the best words that I knew on this sheet of
She
paper,
said that
man. I
out
mean,
there.
on in this email. And we got everybody, we sent everybody a message. Hey, send me your email. Send me your email. And I put this email together, man, and hit that send button. Crickets.
I'm telling you, or it was excuses.
Yeah.
Either
Or
no one
weird
said anything.
questions. Like,
Yeah,
what do you mean you wanna meet together and
and
mastermind
discuss.
and
Right,
talk about, having a better future? What do you mean exactly? What? It was just weird. I felt so disappointed.
yeah,
It was awkward, but it was also disappointing because at the time the light bulb had went off for me. And now, obviously I'm a little bit older now. I did just have a birthday
yeah.
last month, and so in
2 years from
in
40.
my older age, I now know. I feel wiser. Okay, don't giggle. I feel wiser at 30 young years of age. However, when I
Yeah,
sent that email out around 27 or maybe even 26, somewhere in there, I don't know, when we sent that email out, the reaction and the response that I had personally was one that was immature, right? We were trying to bring people along that didn't, understand the journey, hadn't read the book, hadn't, gotten any of the information that we had gotten at the time. But I was agitated as if, they had read it too and then thought it was a dumb idea,
right,
But
right.
so,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so now in my wiser years, I understand that they just didn't understand, and that's okay. But, I think about that time frame of when, we were trying to force feed people into the journey that
Right.
we were entering into, and they just didn't want to go. And, looking back on that now, I'll be honest, I don't even know if I have those people's phone number. Like, I'm sure they probably still in my phone,
Right.
but I couldn't even tell you the last time I talked to them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It probably has been a decade or so, or maybe 7, 8 years or so since I've had a real,
Right.
legitimate conversation with them.
And that's what
And it's
happens.
highly unlikely that it'll
Yeah.
happen in the future.
And that's really what happens, man. A lot of people don't they'll say, like how you just met those people like a month ago or 2 months ago or let's say a year ago
Mm,
versus somebody that you grew up with, and
mm.
you like, man, but yeah,
But they've been on the same
they
path,
on the
right?
path
Like it's
exactly.
almost
They on the
it's
path.
it's so weird because like I see, the people that we was in the greenhouse marriage getaway with, like I physically, in my mind, right, I can just visualize these people were on the same path. You know
Right.
how they say when you drifting, that 1 degree, right,
Exactly.
type of situation.
Yeah.
I feel like we were all in the water, you know what I'm saying, at some point in time, literally just on this same path in some kind of way. We just met, in the right place at the right time type deal. Like
Yeah.
that's how you can meet people along your journey and feel like you've known them for
For
years
exactly.
because they're on the same trajectory. The mindset is the same, right?
Right.
The desire is the same.
And it
The
makes a difference.
intention is the same, and it makes a major
Yeah.
difference in how you are now able to build a relationship with them so quickly that you just like, man, I feel like I've known these
I've been
people since
exactly.
since I was in kindergarten or something, man.
Exactly. Like, man, it's just because you connecting on a whole lot of levels. And see, a lot of times we use those connections like that in the wrong way.
Mm.
Right. And I think about that. I think about when I'm doing retirement planning for customers or whatnot. And I say, well, look, how did you come up with this number? And they were like, well, I asked my supervisor, right? How much should I contribute to my 401k? I'm like, man, okay, so you and your
But your
supervisor got
supervisor
the
ain't
same
got no
living
investment.
expenses. You know what I'm saying? They
No
got
investment degrees or nothing, no
nothing. But I'm
certification.
like, so y'all got the same living expenses or whatever. And they like, oh, well, yeah, no, we don't. I'm like, well, so you just decided to take that answer. And that's okay. That's what most people do. And that's what we do when we hang around the wrong circles. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Because that's where we get our information from, right? The
Mm-hmm.
people that we hang around, which is why it's so important. A lot of times when people are talking about retirement and things like that, they're working for a number of years and not a dollar amount.
Yeah, or
Right.
they getting information from folks that maybe blood related to them, or maybe they at the
Right.
barbershop. Like I distinctly remember trying to get a guy. I was at State Farm, answering the phones or whatever, and I ended up talking to a customer that needed auto policy, and of course, with the discounts and all, he
Yeah.
was a young guy, so it made sense for him to get a life insurance policy with his car insurance because of the
Right. The discounts and
yeah,
the amount he was paying,
the
it
the
probably paid
discounts.
for itself.
And so, yes, I'm explaining to this guy, sir, because he's young, of course, his car insurance was, rather expensive. And the term life insurance policy that I offered to him was like probably like 20 something dollars a month. But with the 5% discount that was being added to his auto insurance, he would have been actually saving, say, like $40
Yeah.
because of how
The
big his
discount was
premium
big, right.
was, right? And so I'm explaining to him, like, sir, the policy is $23. The
Yeah.
discount is going to eat it up, right? As a
Right.
matter of fact, you're going to pay less for your car insurance
You gonna pay
with the
less
life
for it
insurance
all
policy
together.
together
Yeah.
than you would just with the car insurance. I'm explaining that to him.
Mm-hmm.
Say it a couple times. He's like, all right, I'm going to call you back. This man calls me back after calling his uncle who don't have life insurance. Told him, you don't need to get that. That's a waste of your money. Uncle, are you going to bury the fella?
Man, he might contribute.
If he go out here in this sports car and hit a wall.
He might fry some fish, but he ain't go pay for the fish. He just go get donated.
But he went in, you know what I'm saying? He went to who was in his close-knit circle.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And asked the question. And I'm like, for me, I understand now how important it is to have the right people around you.
Man,
like,
it's a game changer.
we're out here, looking at, $1 million, apartment complexes and things of that nature, multi-million-dollar apartment complexes.
Yeah.
And now I'm not calling my uncle.
No, when we first moved to Slidell, we reached out to. Hold on 1 second. Hey, y'all, hashtag live and where you watching from. Too.
Yeah, do that.
Like and share when you get a chance. But yeah, when we first moved to Slidell, we asked our uncle, right? Hey, come check it out, because he had some rental properties and stuff like that. So, but that was the extent of
that was
who
as
we
far
knew
that was the ceiling
that
for
had
us
more
already.
than the house that they lived in.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And man, when I say it really wasn't that much help, it really wasn't that much help. It was just like a field trip for, you know what I'm saying? Just
Yeah.
like something to just go out and do. You know what I'm saying? Just I'm like, man, he didn't give us no insight, no nothing. If we had to do it again, I'd buy a house that we needed to fix up from HUD.gov or something like that, live in it for a few years, fix it up along the way because the bank will give you some money to do that.
But we hit
And
the ceiling at where we
yeah,
were, and I'm like, I think it's important, for people to realize how important it is to have the right people in your environment, especially as a business owner. There's different hurdles, that we're gonna, cross over, experience, or what have you, and we don't know everything in business, but we've had a
yeah, we've
lot of
had our runs,
experiences,
yeah,
right?
and
So
still having them.
yeah, and so when people that are new in business, they call us or whatever, there's some experiences that we can kind of walk them through.
Absolutely.
But now we're in this space where, hey, we wanna acquire more doors, right? We wanna get a larger real estate investment portfolio, right? Well, I'm not gonna call my new in business friends and ask them any questions about that,
Right.
But because we've cultivated, really good relationships, there's people in our phone that we got on speed dial
That we can
that we
hit
can
up.
say,
Yeah.
hey, I know you got, X amount of doors. This is what we're trying to negotiate. What do you think about this? Like what's your you know what I'm saying? What's your
Right. How can
yeah,
you get creative with the financing? Being able to just
absolutely.
have those conversations, just talk out loud, to have that sounding board. It's really a shame that, and a lot of times we feel like we need to turn to Chat GPT to be a legit sounding board.
Mm.
And I don't think it should be, that way, because as humans, we have value, but we have to be intentional about getting in those, creating those environments, creating those circles. And then when we do find them, fostering those relationships,
Yep.
right? And having trying to add value to it to let the other party know as well. Like, hey, yeah, no, hey, you cool, I'm cool, we cool, let's cool. You know what I'm saying? We good,
Yeah.
because man, I think that type of thing is paramount to when you're talking about raising kids,
Mm-hmm.
when you're talking about doing business, when you're talking
Yeah.
about traveling. I mean, you travel different.
Yeah.
You travel different with
Listen,
who you travel with.
the overwater bungalow. You
Yeah,
know
I'm
what I'm
just
saying?
that's a
First
different
of all,
travel.
I know David was on here. I don't know if he's still on here or not, but David had the inside scoop to the bungalow and didn't
They
tell
didn't tell
nobody.
nobody.
You know what I'm saying?
Nobody.
Now I checked out the spot. You know what I'm saying? The hotel looked absolutely phenomenal or whatever. Online, but you know how the hotels do. They feature, you know what I'm saying, like the most extravagant rooms, like they
Yeah.
penthouse suites and all that kind of stuff, on the front page. So when I looked at the hotel, like, from the booking or whatever, I was like, oh man, this is sweet. Like they got overwater bungalows. We about to be out here, And what I didn't pay attention to was that they actually had other types of rooms. I'm
Yeah.
like, I saw overwater bungalows on the front page, and I just knew without a
was
doubt.
it.
Even them
Yeah.
on the flight with us, man. We done met up with, the all Knights, you know
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying? We this hometown, right? Like we like, man, they from Mississippi, we ain't no people from Mississippi. So we get off the plane in Antigua. David now, the lady at the we checking in. There you go. We checking in at the desk to go ride to the hotel and on the transit. And the lady was like, "You guys go this way.
Yeah.
The rest of y'all go over here."
Yeah.
So I'm looking like, they ain't want to ride with us or something. I thought we kicked it off on the flight. We sitting together in first class and whatnot. So I'm thinking David, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, golly, they don't even want to ride on the bus with us. Like, what is happening? So
He blaming it on
he gone. So we don't know what done happened to them. They get in the little luxury vehicle and pull off. The rest of us get in the car or whatever. We gone on to the hotel. Dave and them get there, you know what I'm saying? And they already got a butler. Like the people is prancing them around. They got some little shampoo in the glasses and whatnot. So I'm like, I don't even know what they got going on, but I know it's something a little bit more exclusive to what I got. So the lady comes up to put my little wristband on. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
this is where environment matters, because I'm already noticing that David and them is getting some treatment that I should have been getting from day one. And I'm not understanding why I'm not receiving it. So the lady, the wristbands, which I thought was really cool. You don't have room keys. They just give you these little
Yeah.
bracelets with some little cards on them. And that's your room key.
Yeah.
So the lady goes to put my room key on. I said, hold on, ma'am. I pulled my wrist back. I said, ma'am, we got one of those overwater bungalows, right? And she like, you have a swim up pool. I said, yeah, it got a pool too, but it's over water, right? Like we in an overwater bungalow, right? And the lady was like, I don't think so. I said, and I pulled my wrist back even tighter. I said, well, you need to go check
Before you put that on my wrist.
because I'm not giving you my wrist, And so during this time while she's checking, Dave and them is filling us in that once the whole reservation link comes out to schedule the trip months, like 9 months ago, they tell the travel agent lady that they want to overwater bungalow. So I done missed the loop. This is why you need to have friends that understand how important experiences are. Because I mean, David could have put in the group, I don't know when the WhatsApp started or what, but he could have been like, hey guys, I just upgraded to a bungalow, whatever. I don't know.
But you know what? I to be honest with you, I don't know if I would have listened to him.
Really?
Because I didn't know him then. Like I just would have been like, because I don't know what his standard.
I know what an overwater bungalow is.
Man, it could have been like on Martin.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
Like,
I didn't want no cereal box experience either.
Like, man, I found this in the back of the magazine and called to get a discount. Listen.
You're right.
You know what? I don't know this guy right now.
Hey, I'm glad we know David now, but I was feeling some kind of way when I found out this joker had an overwater bungalow and we did not. So the lady, she comes back, man. The lady loops back.
Don't do it.
Is Dante still on here?
She says what it costs, and then it's like she was afraid to swipe the card for what
the lady is scared to swipe my card. I'm like, do it look like I'm somebody that my card would decline?
Well, like
I feel some type of way.
She wanted to make sure.
This lady asked us 4 times. She said, we found, we actually have an overwater bungalow that is available. We can upgrade you. She said, and then she tells us the cost of the overwater bungalow. And I said, okay, great. Put us in that. And then bring me back my wristband. So you're right, David. They had the wrong person to say, oh my God, we could do a whole podcast on just that experience alone.
Listen,
this lady comes the first time.
When she finished.
She tells us how much the bungalow is. And I'm like, absolutely. I said, LeMoine, give me your card.
Yeah.
I hand it to the lady. Lady walks off. Lady comes back with my card about 30 seconds later and says, I just want you to know that the price that I quoted you is per night. I said, okay. Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Did some quick math. Okay.
She walks away again. 45 seconds later, lady comes back with reinforcements. She come back with the guy. So I'm like, is this the manager dude? I'm like, am I in trouble? Did she swipe the card and something weird happened? I don't know. The lady comes back again and say, I just want you to know what the full total is. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, ma'am, let me walk over here with you so you could swipe my card. That's what I tell her. I said, because you acting like maybe this bungalow ain't what I thought it was gonna be. She's about to talk me. I'm like, is this bungalow not as sweet as what the picture said it was? I don't know. So anyway, I go over there to the little cash register thing, the little credit card swiping machine. I go over there with her. I said, then I call LeMoine. I said, LeMoine, come over here. Come over here. I said, this how much it costs. Are you okay with that? He said, yeah, I'm good with it. Are you good with it? I said, I'm absolutely good with it.
Yeah, I'm just trying. I'm wondering. I'm like, I thought she was finna say like they said something else. I'm like, no, I know my car good.
We got some funds on there. So then I look back at the lady and I said, we good. Are you okay with taking my money for this bungalow?
Man.
And she's like, they all just started laughing at the little desk or whatever. And I'm like, man, give me the bungalow. Hey. So anyway, she said, well, next time pay for my AB say, pay for my bungalow.
Let's make it happen, Little Mermaid. Let's make it happen.
Bruh. So we get this bungalow, bruh, and this is the most amazing experience I have ever had in my life. I wonder if I had ever saw that lady again. I'm like, man, if I was your boss, I'd have fired you that day.
Exactly.
If I had known, you know what I'm saying, that you was out here trying to talk people out of a
Man,
sale like this.
for real, but experiences do matter.
Experiences
Experiences
matter.
matter, and that's what I'm starting to. I know this, you know what I'm saying. But it's like, man, because those are things that I'm like, man, you can't. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm okay with paying for experiences.
Absolutely.
I'm okay with paying for that because that's the things that I'm going to hold on to when we get old or older and gray and we got grandkids. That's gonna be an experience that we talk about.
I'm gonna tell them how AB swam from the shoreline
over to
all
the
the way to our bungalow in the ocean with jellyfish and stingrays. I'm gonna tell my grandkids about that. But the amazing part for me was that even though we had an amazing time, or just experiencing the atmosphere of this, overwater bungalow, just absolutely beautiful. It meant more to me to invite other couples over to the bungalow so that they could see, experience as well.
Was just so that we can all embrace it together.
Yeah, man. Like this our
people.
bungalow.
Yeah, it was dope. Yeah, exactly. It's the community. It was dope people, man. So we were having fun. But it's like, again, going back to those experiences, it's like, man, I'm not going to let something that the government print on the rig
every single day
that they hand out like that, and knowing that I have the ability to continue to create because I use like my mind, my highest level of creation, right? Because God created us to create. That's when he introduced himself to us, he said he created. When somebody tell you the first thing that they say about themselves, that's probably the most important thing, right? He said he created. And he created us to be creators, right? Ain't nothing else in society creates. Nothing else. We're the only thing that can continue to do that, right? Dogs are gonna be dogs, and that's that. They don't create nothing else. They go dig a hole over there and lay up in it if they're in the woods. But nonetheless, those experiences, man, I value the experience.
I'm not gonna put a dollar amount on the memories that we made, with the people that we met, all of that type of stuff. But it was just, and not that the overwater bungalow was the deal. Now don't get me wrong, it was the thing. But the people, were a part.
He walked the farthest.
He walked the farthest. Bridget, you ain't swim nowhere, man.
Joel did. He swam all the way. He swam like a football field.
Absolutely.
Like, it was a long way. He was thirsty when he got there though.
Yeah,
he was thirsty.
But I just think that, it's important to note that, the experience that we were able to create there was well worth every dollar that was spent. And that's why, we didn't think twice. Like when the lady said, are you sure, about actually purchasing it? I'm like, absolutely, I'm sure. Because the first thing I thought about was, I'm not giving away the ability to create the money to you, right? Like I'm giving you my Amex card, but I'm not giving you my ability to create this money. I gave you what I created. So here, because I can create more of it. Every time I want to, all I got to do is go back in here and say, "Oop, I want another bungalow."
Exactly.
Oop. And I want another experience.
It looks the same as if I bought a pack of Altoids.
Yeah,
it's because the same thing, the same mental faculty that I use to create funds to buy a pack of Altoids is the same mental capabilities and faculties that I use to purchase that bungalow or to buy that apartment complex or to buy whatever else that I'm gonna buy next. You know what I'm saying? To acquire and create experiences. Your belief system or our belief system, anybody's belief system is key to any of it. So the deal is like we can blame our situation on the government. We can say, okay, well, the government taxes, whatever it may be. And I'm not saying that those things aren't important or aren't a big deal, but there's still some people winning out here. Right. The deal is you can't ask God for 5 summers in a row. It's gonna be some winters and falls, right? You got winter, spring, summer, fall. You can't say, God, let me get 4 springs in a row and I'm gonna be good. You can't do that. That's not how it works. So you have to tool yourself, your beliefs. That's what we had to do was tool ourselves, our beliefs, and create our philosophy around creating wealth or creating assets that continue to create wealth and how we see ourselves as it relates to how God sees us.
Mm-hmm.
And when we start to tune into that, then it was like, man, yeah, we can do this. We
Yep.
can win. They can win. Y'all winning, because hey, we all in our same lane.
Yeah.
I mean, we all in our lane. And it's a beautiful thing when we can get together and have conversation that continues to grow each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That continues to pour into the thought processes that we have.
And you could tell when it's not authentic too, like or at least I can. I kind of know when, people are just, selfishly entering into the environment. And we probably should have called this podcast the trip to Antigua, because it was just a deal. But I think that, like being around people, that were on that trip, it just the energy of that group, it was just I felt like there was just so much harmony there,
It
right?
was.
There is no intimidation in the group. Nobody is there's no jealousy in the group. Nobody was feeling like they didn't fit for any particular,
Right,
reason or
right.
whatever. Like the energy in the room was just amazing. Like there was just so much
And we laughed
man.
so hard.
Oh.
We laughed so hard. I wanted to talking about beliefs though. When I first I was talking about the sales lady, the lady that didn't want to swipe her car.
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
and
yeah.
this is small, but I want to share it because beliefs matter. So when I first moved to Slidell, I worked for a cell phone company called T-Mobile for about 4 months. And so it was a guy came in there, he had an Apple phone and he was switching over to the Motorola Razor. And at the time, the highest memory card we had was like 2 GB, or maybe it was a gig, but it was $80, right? And this guy came in and he said he's switching over. He was mad about something with Apple or whatever. So he says, give me the car, give me the phone. But he said, I want to get a memory card. And I told him which one we had, but I told him the cheapest one first. And then he said,
This
well,
is before he read Think You Go Rich.
yeah, he said, do you have anything bigger? I was like, yeah, but it's $80, man. It's $80. Do you want that? Like that's expensive. You know what I'm saying? Because my belief was that it was expensive. You know what I mean? My thought process on it spoke to him in a way, and he's like, okay, give it to me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking to myself,
you shopping with your pocket.
yeah, I'm thinking to myself, this memory card this big, right? And you finna spend $80 on that. That's $20 from 100. You know what I mean? I probably wasn't making but $700 every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Somewhere there about, man. But understanding what the mental makeup of how we thought about money then, right? How did we see it? What was it? Is it a tool or is it something that we just coveted it? Because I grew up with not the most. You know what I mean? I venture to say that really poor. I mean, I didn't think we were poor at the time, you know what I'm saying? But when I got out and got exposed, then I realized that you don't use Palmolive for a bubble bath. Yeah, that's not what that's
we
for.
We don't do that.
You know what I mean? That is not really common to put washing powder in the tub and move your hand real fast to make it bubble up.
You don't have to do that.
That ain't
bubble
what it
baths
is.
does exist.
Yeah, I noticed. Yeah, you taught me.
Environment matters.
Environment
you know what I'm saying? Like it grew you up a couple notches.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that clearly speaks to your point. When you get around people that he said you have to use the Dawn. Listen, y'all use the shampoo for bubbles, man. What is we doing?
He ain't gonna have no oil on his skin.
It's gonna be a ass shit. You're gonna be winter ash here in the summertime, as Charisma says. It's like that's winter ash.
And she did show us a fine example of that.
Oh man.
But man, environment matters so much. It really does. And I'm just saying, like the people that you are around, the people that you hang around, the people that you get your information from, just know that it matters. You know what I mean? Like it matters. Don't think the law of inertia says, hey, if you don't work on it, it's going to diminish. Yeah. It's going to go away. So don't think just because you're around people and they ain't really talking about much that it ain't really hurting you, because that stuff is getting in your mind.
Oh man. Yeah, man.
And
it's getting in your headspace. And that's why I am so intentional about protecting what goes in. Like I am very intentional about that. So like, I mean, LeMoine, here or there, I hadn't seen you do it in a while, but LeMoine would watch the news. That LeMoine
Yeah.
knows how protective I am
Yeah.
about what
I
I
grew up
hear
watching the news
and what I see.
at
And
5 o'clock every day.
yes, it's been
Every day.
taking him a little bit longer to come up out of there, get out of there. But he'll be watching the news, and I'm not saying that people are bad for watching the news. I just think that if you can't handle the information right, like if as soon as you watch the news and it's telling you everything bad, and now an hour later all you thinking about is bad stuff, like
Right.
that's probably not the space for you. So like LeMoine, I come in the bedroom, LeMoine got the news on, he'll grab the remote so fast and turn the TV to something else. I'm like,
I know. I'm like,
almost
man,
as if he was watching porn or something. I'm like,
it
golly,
make me feel like it sometimes. Like, man, she's like, that's that negative stuff in
there
my
it
space.
is. I'm like, you
it's
done
all
filled the
over my
room.
mattress.
It's in the
Yeah,
room
it's
now.
all on
You
my
done
mattress.
got the news in the
Yeah.
room. Like, what? I ain't gonna put that in my bedroom.
And when
This,
it's like that,
this
we
is
ain't
a
got nothing.
sacred space.
We ain't got nothing to report. And when it's like that,
nothing.
Lord
I don't
have
know what
mercy,
I'm talking about.
help us.
I'm like, it's bad weather coming. We can check Facebook. Somebody on there that told us that the storm. My mama's gonna call me if it's a hurricane coming. That's how we found out about Hurricane Katrina too. We didn't know it was happening. My mama called and said, "Y'all got some canned goods?" I said, "For what?"
We were laid up.
She said, "Because Hurricane Katrina
Yeah.
coming." Hadn't watched the liquor news. You hear me? But anyway, I just, what I'm saying, I think it's important that we protect,
Right.
not just what we're watching on TV or what we're listening to on the radio, but who gets to come,
Right.
into our space. And for us as employers, there are some people that we just have to be around, whether their mindsets are fully there or not, right? Like there's customers, there's employees, and to be honest, for me, I'm gonna go and flush out the employee if they ain't got if they ain't got the right headspace. Like you for me, if you gonna be around in my space, it really, I'm not gonna deal with the negative energy, man. I'm not gonna do it. And with friends, even with employees, we get to choose who we work with. That's one of the beauties of entrepreneurship. You get to make as much money as you want to make because you control, what you do, but you also get to control who you employ, and I think that's super important to not just be putting anybody, on your team. Like we was first in business, we was in desperation. It was, do you have a pulse? Are you legal to work in the United States? And can you provide proof? Hired.
Or you don't necessarily fire when you should because you're, or because you're afraid, even though their personality doesn't mesh with you or their beliefs don't mesh, or something about that. And then you just like, well, man, I kind of need them in here and you're making that decision based out of fear. And anytime you make a decision based out of fear, unless it's fear of the Lord, okay. Anytime you make a decision that's based out of anything other than fear of the Lord, it's probably not the right move. Okay. It's probably not the right move from my experience, from my life experiences. So it's like knowing how to value that. Right. Knowing how to value that is even more important because we'll think, that it's not that big of a deal. But it's like, man, that stuff is a big deal. 1 degree off, and 5 years from now, you'd be 500 degrees off. You'd be 3 miles from your destination.
Listen.
Because you were 1 degree off listening to that conversation. I hadn't listened to the Steve Harvey Morning Show in a few months now.
Now this is news. We need. Where do your little sound effects at? What? How you doing? I don't know. Give me a sound effect.
Hey, look, I'm real. Like I felt like it was okay to listen to the Strawberry Letter in the morning. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was all right to listen to Nephew Tommy jokes, and it may be, but what I do know is I hadn't put enough other information to help me combat or help me stay focused. When I listen to that, it may, I may laugh and entertain, be entertained by it versus actually feeding myself some information that can be useful to my family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the Strawberry Letter, a Nephew Tommy joke, it's a laugh now, but it is no help later. You know what I mean? The joking about it when the tension get high is not what it is, but it's a slow drift. And anytime if you put a boat in the water and you don't secure it down, guess what? You go drift away.
Man. That drifting
You
is
go
is
drift.
is uh is something real. Which we are starting a book club next week with the greenhouse community. We may have to start a little. I don't know. Shanta's on here. Maybe we'll start us a little. What you call them things? Oh, Facebook group or something
Oh,
for.
with the book club, yeah.
Yeah, because we're reading
Outwitting the
Outwitting the
Devil
Devil.
by Napoleon Hill.
Yes, by Napoleon Hill, who's also the same author of Think and Grow Rich.
Right.
And they talk a little bit about masterminding inside of Outwitting the
Yeah.
Devil as well. But what I thought was super cool was he mentioned how the husband and wives are or the well Napoleon and his wife were actually masterminding together quite often, which is why. And if you haven't read the book, you should absolutely get the book. I
Right.
love the audio book because it has like this weird little
Voice
creepy
type,
little
yeah.
deep voice for the devil and then another voice for Napoleon Hill, and so it's kind of entertaining. But he's talking to the devil basically. He's interviewing the devil, and because the devil is a fallen angel, read your Bible. When he's asking the devil these questions, he has to answer, right?
Right.
Because angels have to
Angel
respond to
to us.
commands,
Yeah.
right? So he's asking the devil all these questions, and he asked the devil. He said, "What?" He said, "How is it that I'm not a drifter?" That's what we just talking about, this slow drift. And being a drifter is basically you're just in this loop, right? You do the
Yeah.
same thing
It's not
every
like
day, all
hypnotic
day.
rhythm.
Yeah, you in a hypnotic rhythm. You're literally just doing.
Audible.
We use Audible for the audio book. We got it on Audible, but basically if you're a drifter or if you're inside of some type of hypnotic rhythm, you're just in the same cycle, right? And if you can think about your life right now and you do the same things every single day without
Yeah.
fail, you might want to check that book out, right? Because it kind of
It helps illuminate what hypnotic rhythms look like and how
absolutely,
subtle they can be. And then
yeah.
we find ourselves adrift at sea, swimming around great white sharks.
And you wonder why 10 years have went by and you the
this has been
same
no
person you
progress.
was
Right.
back in 2013, right? Like that's literally, because now like I'm like, man, some things I look at and I'm like, oh my god, it's been 10 years, and I can see major differences. Whereas, I'm almost certain, there's some things that I can look at in my life and it's like, hey, you really ain't made no progress over there. So just being a drifter, I really believe you can drift in different, like in
Absolutely.
different
But
categories.
and a lot of times the thing that I like most about the book is it's not just talking about alcoholism or tobacco. Like it's talking about stuff that we do on a uh, on a regular basis.
Right. Yeah.
You know
You
what I
get
mean?
up, you brush your teeth, you take a shower, you go to work, you come, you go stop and get something to eat, you come home,
Right.
you watch it in front of the TV, you nod off in front of the TV, you get up, you go to bed, and you do it all over again.
But
Like there's no
it's no purpose. Like it's no
nothing.
purpose that you're driving toward. It's like, and that's what I was talking about with the retirement, man. I'm like, a lot of times people just they just working to get 30 years.
That's it.
And like it ain't purposeful at all. It's just
No.
working to get 30 years. I'm contributing 5% because my supervisor said do that. I mean, it's just so blindly,
Yeah.
and then we just keep going with it because we get in that hypnotic rhythm,
Mhm.
and we feel like everything is okay, but the whole everything around us is crumbling down. But because we're in a hypnotic rhythm, right? We
Mhm.
don't really even realize it. We just think everything is okay. So
Yes,
we
you're
let our
right.
highest level of creativity go to waste
Mhm.
because we are in an illusion thinking that hey, we're doing well because we go to work, we come back, we good humans. I help somebody off the side of the road or whatever it may be, right? Versus like what is my purpose? Like what is my God given purpose? Like how am I creating
Yeah.
in that space? Like am I hiding my talent? You know what I'm saying? Like the man did when he gave him the 3 talent. I mean, gave the 3 men the talent. Am I hiding it? Did I bury it? Well, like what am I doing with this?
Yeah.
Because that job, it may or may not be, but most of the time it's probably not because we were trained kind of to go after where the money was at.
Yeah.
I know for the longest, like when I was in college and stuff like that, I majored in business. I got an MBA because that's where they said people make money at. You know what I'm
The lie
saying?
detector determined.
That was.
but
What's up,
we
fam? I
but
see you on here, B. Smith.
yeah, but we went out a little on a rabbit hole there. But
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty cool that he mentioned like I was saying that that the husband and the wife couple there, like because he got with his wife, not saying that the wife was the answer, but more so of being like in alignment with his wife is what stopped him from being a drifter.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
like they started masterminding together, like on a regular,
yeah.
and he asked him, he was like, so are you referring to that piece in the Bible where they talk about where two or three are gathered? You know what I'm saying? Like he referred, like the Napoleon asked the devil that. He asked him, are you referring to that particular scripture? You're saying that because, me and my wife are, together on the same, focused on the same thing all the time, that this is the reason why, I'm not a drifter anymore. He was
Right.
like, yeah, that, and a couple of other things. But I thought that that was super cool because what he
Yeah.
was basically saying was, if you get around like-minded people and you stay focused on a particular thing, you have no other choice but to achieve it.
Absolutely.
And I was like, oh my goodness, light
And,
bulb
and
goes off again.
right, think about it. It's times in the Bible where they were building that altar, right?
Yeah.
The tower or
Mhm.
whatever it was. Like they legit was doing it.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't for a good cause,
Yeah.
they were doing it, and he did. God said, "Hey, I gotta confuse their language
Yep.
because they anytime somebody get on the same accord, and that's why it's so powerful when you find individuals that are on the same wavelength. That hey, don't let no petty foolishness take you off the mission. You know what I'm saying? Like hey, foster that. Be real about it. Go after it because it's some great things that can happen out of that, right?
Yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg invited, I think, 5 people to
Word.
his dorm
He invited
room
5 people to come to talk about Facebook in
and
2003.
and two of them showed up.
2 people. And
And-
both
and-
of those guys are billionaires now.
Right now today.
Yeah.
Right now today. Just for the
Just because they showed up.
show
I
up,
don't even know
talk
what
about
happened
it.
in the room, but I mean, I saw the movie,
Yeah,
but
yeah, at Water
if in my imagination, I feel like Mark probably had like most of the idea kind of fabricated, but he probably needed
Hey.
somebody that was techie on the back end that could like build out this stuff or something. Like I'm thinking, but I'm like, he invited these people in on his idea.
Yeah.
And now they're literally billionaires because they came in and they added the value that they had in the room. It wasn't that they needed to be marked.
Yeah.
They just needed to add the value of who they
Show
were.
up, show up authentic.
Show up
as they are,
authentically
yeah.
as you are. And I'm like, man, listen, I'm just telling y'all right now, the way I feel right now about this next, this
Yeah.
next piece that we're working, that we're working to put together and to mastermind. Listen, I'm telling you right now, I'm definitely not inviting the 10 people that we invited 10 years ago. Okay. they're not gonna get invited. But I really do believe that there is power in being able to do that and having the right people in the room
100%.
that are okay in showing up authentically themselves and
100%.
bringing their value to the room. And I'm talking about like all kinds of fireworks going off.
Absolutely.
I believe in mastermind. I've paid to be in masterminds now
Absolutely.
literally for the last 10 years. And I see the difference, you know what I'm saying, that it's made for us.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, this,
because of masterminds create environments where it creates a different level of thinking, and then it makes you take action because the people that are around you are taking action. If everybody around you quit, guess what? You probably go quit.
Yeah.
If everybody around you okay with stealing, then guess what? You probably go steal.
Yeah.
At some point. If everybody around you drinking, you probably go drink some. You know what I mean? Or if every man you around cheating on his spouse, you probably go cheat. You know what I mean? That's just how it is because your environment influences you.
Yeah.
Your environment influences you. So what conversations you having, it that's going to influence you.
Yeah.
Right? The outlook that you have on your family and kids, that's going to influence you.
Yeah.
The negative, the positive. It's going to influence you one way or the other. We just want to make sure that we stay in circles and in places where it influences us toward our destiny and not away from it.
Well, I think we've also been swindled into thinking that, stuff like that don't necessarily matter, right? Like,
Right.
oh, that's just my
Right.
cousin and such. Like, I'm sorry, we can't choose who we are blood related to. Like I get that, but we can't choose the amount of quality time that we spend,
Right. Right.
with those people. And we can also cultivate new family if needed. Not that I'm saying, throw your fam in the trash type
No.
deal. I am saying though that it is super important that you cultivate and build the type of relationships that you need to keep moving forward,
Right. Right. Right.
and a lot of times we're just thinking, oh, that's just LeMoine.
Yep.
Oh, that's just Crystal. Yep. See,
You
Crystal
see
drinking
exactly.
mango juice and
And
green juice because of
exactly.
my environment,
Because
man.
of the environment.
I've been
Mess
over here
around with
drinking,
Tim and
man.
Dante.
I'm paying $10 for a little old small jar of juice out here because it's all natural green
Man.
juices stuff. I don't know, man, but the environment cultivated.
Hoodwinked for real.
You know what I'm saying? The environment has cultivated it, and I'm now a green juice drinker and a mango juice drinker. Thanks to the environment that I was in Antigua. But you're exactly right. We can't be hoodwinked into, like being
Right,
in
because
in
it's part of the environment. When you're in the
yeah.
environment, it's like, okay, well, yeah, and it takes the intimidation out. When you talk about somebody saying, "Man, I bought this lot across the street from my office, and I'm trying to see, is it a housing development or whatever?" Man, I know somebody that did that.
Mm-hmm,
So like, hey, yeah, it's doable.
mm-hmm.
All right. When you see people that's in your neighborhood, that's why like it's so important for people that's made it successfully in sports and things like that. They always want them to come back to the community and things like that because they're like, man, I saw you made it. You know what I'm saying? I can make it. Let's work hard. Let's work hard.
It's exposure.
The same is true from in other arenas.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? From a business arena, I never forget. It was a guy named Andre Watson in my hometown, man. He had this wallet. It was like one of those long leather wallets. And I just knew that was the smoothest thing ever. It was like a tall one, like you put your dollar bills in it straight. They didn't have to fold, and you just tucked it in your back pocket, right?
Sound like easy theft to me, but
Well, it was smooth. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was smooth. I'm like, man, I want one of them. So I opened up a frugal savings account, is what it was called at Trustmark. My mama opened it up anyway, and it came with one of these little blue deposit books. And I thought that was the closest thing that I thought it was the same thing. And I
you
tucked
walked
it,
around with a
man, I
deposit
tucked it in my
slip
back
book in
pocket.
your back
Man,
pocket.
did I? Like I was the man.
Oh
I'm
my
talking about, I went
god!
to the basketball game, had it in my back pocket, and I'm talking about
He saved all these lame stories for after we got married. You was walking around with a book, a checkbook full of nothing but deposit slips.
Yeah, it was just a deposit because it was a savings account for kids. It was called frugal savings account.
Hey, God, how much money you had in there?
Man, I think it took $10 to open it.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? It wasn't a whole lot. It wasn't a whole lot. But the fact of the matter is, you know what I'm saying?
Well, that's gonna be it for tonight's
environment. It's environment. You know what I mean? That's what we was getting at. Don't get off of it. It's environment. The people that you see, the people that you're around. We
Did you ever think to ask him what was in there?
I knew it, but I knew it was his cards and stuff. I didn't have cards, but I just thought the concept was the same. It was long, it was vertical.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? That he didn't have to fold his money. He could just slide it in there. Okay. I didn't have any money to fold, but I was like, okay, yeah, I can put that in,
But you can walk around looking like Andre
Watson. The real H-Town, DC.
Okay.
The real H-Town. That's it.
Well, I'm so glad that you have grown.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I mean, but it's exposure. It's exposure. It's exposure. That's what I was getting at. It's exposure.
Yes, and, environment matters, man. It does, 100%. This has tickled me.
No, he ain't got to go to. He ain't got to go to.
You sure he don't?
No.
He do.
Watson ain't got no gold too.
This the same guy with the little, he kind of got a little curly, like.
Yeah, but Watson ain't got no gold too.
Okay. All right.
I'm
gonna look him up.
I know Watson. Him and DQ.
This man had deposit slips in his pocket, man.
Hey, man.
Look at that influence though.
That's what I'm saying.
That's major influence. You was trying to look away.
Exactly.
I got it.
Exactly. It matters. And that's what I'm saying. Even though, it's not something that you just like, man, okay, what is molding your financial blueprint? What is molding your economic? What is molding like your lifestyle? What's molding those blueprints?
Your marriage?
Yeah. What is molding that? Like what are you looking at that creates, the picture that you're seeing?
You so right. Cause that's why that's why I question them. I'm like, y'all can't get rid of us, man. Cause they model, what a healthy marriage looks like. We had other couples, LaShawn and Rob,
right? Yeah.
Sean and Edwin. We intentionally make sure that we are putting couples in front of us, that model healthy marriages,
Right.
because whether they know it or not, I think about, when I would be like, oh, I wonder how quickly I could pack my stuff up. I'd be like, Sean ain't gonna let me. She not gonna let me go. you
She
know,
packing.
if I pack up, you packing
I'm
up.
just saying, we just moving. We just moving.
Because I just be like, man, when you have the right people inside of your environment, they are holding us accountable, whether they even know that the conversations in my head are
Right.
happening or not. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like, that's how that works when you have the right types of people, in your environment. Then
Right.
you want to be able to have different financial conversations when you have the right people in your
Right.
environment.
I mean, it's a different deal when I tell somebody like, man, I want to buy this new Denali truck. And then
Mm,
they like, all right, cool. It's nice, man. Did you buy another property that's gonna pay for it?
correct.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because you finna spend some money on this. Now, did you pick up another asset that's gonna help pay for it?
Because I sure asked the
You
question.
know what I mean? Like, that's a different level. Just because you like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I can go out here and get this truck. And I'm thinking to myself, man, this is the most money I ever spent on a vehicle, and I still didn't get it. But because I hadn't answered the question.
Yeah.
No, I hadn't bought an asset to pay for it.
And I think
I
that
didn't buy
speaks to
another
the,
property.
like the couple masterminding piece too, right? Is that, as married couples, I think we have a responsibility to each other, to hold each other accountable for that, for that
Yeah.
level of growth, right? And I mean, he's saying a real statement. Like, he's like, look, I want this truck. And I'm like,
Yeah, because I'm
absolutely, you should
yeah,
get that truck. What rental property?
yeah, exactly.
What
Like where
rental
we at?
property are we going to purchase to make sure, what I'm saying, that
That
you
is
can
gonna
get
pay
this,
for the note or
that you can
whatever,
get this
or we can
truck?
repay
But
ourselves if we pay cash for it or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
what does it? We
but
gotta
I
slow
can
this back.
guarantee you his wheels started turning, because next thing I know, I'm starting to get, what I'm saying, 20 doors in my, and he texting me links to, I'm like, God, like, what is he? And then I thought about it, I'm like, oh, okay, he trying to pay for this truck.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
now he's sending me 4 and 5 links a day. Look at this property. Look at this property. Check out this property, right? Like, and so I just, for those of you that are on here that are married, I would say to you, make sure that you're helping each other grow, right?
absolutely.
In that way, because first of all, this book, I'm so excited about this
Some
book
of us
club.
have seasons. Like you can. It just may not be a consistent thought, like a heartbeat.
Yeah.
It may be a little downbeat from time to time. You know what I'm saying? Because you get, you know what I'm saying? I
You
kind of
was on
got
the
it.
downbeat.
Yeah, I looked at it, I was like, man, that truck nice. That's just what I've been looking forward to. And I'm like, okay, well, man, I ain't spent that much money on a truck, but I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. And I'm bucking myself up. I can do it. I can do it.
And then he
Yeah.
said, I can do it about 10 times. And then he called me, hey, I want to get this truck.
Right. I ain't say nothing else. I was like, hey, I'm gonna say that I want to get this truck. Meet me over here so we can test drive. You know what I'm saying?
Like, yeah. So what investment property is paying for this?
Right.
And I think that probably, he was probably like,
Exactly.
the
Like, okay,
record
well, yeah, you
stop
right. You right.
playing.
Because I started looking at money a lot different a long time ago. Because I'm like, okay, well, what is going to pay for it because of how, you know what I'm saying, like how I see it. Like, okay, this asset, I'm about to spend this money on this car. It's going to depreciate the time I get it off the lot. You know what I mean? If I spend $90,000 on it, get what? If I bring it back a month from now, they going to give me 72.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If I buy a house and I want to sell it, I can get my money back, if not a little more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay. So but being able to see where that money comes from, if I get a house that's cash flowing $1,500 a month, okay, cool.
But I'm grateful though to have a spouse that understood my response. Like he could have responded and been like, man, this my money, man. I'm gonna go buy this truck. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want this truck, and I'm thinking about, I'm saying that jokingly, but I know that that's the reality of some people's situations. But, for us, we understand where we're going and what we're trying to do. And, when we are making, big purchases or decisions or whatever like that, we're thinking it through, right? Like, okay, what does that look like? So even though he may have had a moment where like, nah, I want this truck,
right.
I need to show up, you know what I'm saying, in a way that is going to be helpful to the both of us. And the same, and to the vision. And same for me. If I come, you know what I'm saying, with an idea, I need him to come back, and say, hey, okay, well, how are we going to fund that? You know what I'm saying? Like we should be able to do that, for each other. So not just, because I spend the most time, with LeMoine. If I'm not with him, he calling me. As soon as he leave the house, he call me, what you doing? So don't act like you don't. Don't act like you don't do it. You do it. Oh, you going to give me the crickets? All right, don't call me tomorrow. Do not. Don't call me tomorrow. But but even outside of our marriages, when we have friends and all that, that's great. But for me and him, it's even more important, that we are both able to do that for each other, because this is the closest environment that we do have, and we heavily influence each other. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm heavily influencing him, he's heavily influencing me in some type of way, and so it's super important that we recognize, what I'm saying, the power of our spouses, and the power of being able to collectively, put our thoughts together to, move in a forward direction.
Yeah.
David say dropping a DM.
I'm gonna drop in them DM, right? I'm telling you.
Don't he act like he know he called me as soon as he leave the house, man.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Don't pull out the driveway and hit my number, is all I'm telling you.
Exactly. If I don't, then you gonna be like, hey, I just want to make sure you got there. All right.
Look at
You're gonna be like, why you ain't exactly.
I am not that one.
Bro,
he know
I
that.
left the office one day and I just pulled up at the crib. Like I pulled up at the crib. She was like, you ain't call me. I didn't know you were gone. I said, oh, okay. I ain't know. She was like, yeah, you called. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I need to know when you on the road.
In front of a live studio audience, you're gonna act this way.
Hey, I'm telling you what the Lord loves.
Okay.
That's the truth.
You
understand what I'm saying?
I did ask you that day. I did. But that is a routine, you know what I'm saying? Because we have to drive.
You're going into the explanation.
You know what? Scratch it.
There you go. You did ask.
I'm going to do you one better. Okay. Call me and see if I pick up.
Okay, then.
Call me and see if I pick up. Because see, let me tell you, this you going to put our business in the street. Let's put it all out there. Because I'm telling you, now I got two phones, right? I got a work phone and I got a trap phone, right? So LeMoine, this is what he do that. I'm telling you.
Okay, here
don't
she go.
act like it. Because you done let everyone hype you up over here. He done come late in these comments and got you hyped.
I'm gonna say it like this.
Tell me you didn't. Tell me you didn't. You called my phone, I ain't answer. I'm in a meeting. Then you called my work phone, I don't answer. Then you hit me up on Facebook Messenger. Say you didn't.
I don't remember. I don't recall.
What does the Lord love again, LeMoine?
The gospel.
I just want y'all to know, this is how you act. Okay, listen, I'm trying to tell you, come back.
Some of them conversations Chris be coming up with about as useless as a screen door on a submarine.
All right, listen,
it's pointless, man.
Okay, all right.
It don't be making no sense. Like it's all good though.
I can't believe you just did this, bro.
I ain't tripping.
So you telling me that you didn't do that?
Girl, you
didn't call my phone and my work phone.
I ain't saying that I didn't, but it could have been.
You might have even called the dispatch phone. I think you called the dispatch.
I think you know what? I think I did, but it was one day you was terminating somebody, and I thought it was gonna be a hostile environment. I think that's what it was. She was terminating somebody.
You lied.
She was terminating somebody.
You thought I was firing somebody to go beat me up or something?
No, I ain't think that. You know what I'm saying? But I just thought it may be a hostile environment. And I when you didn't answer, I think
we over our time. We over. Because this is what happened when we go over 8:00. This kind of stuff that happened right here. It's 8:20. LeMoine has went way past his welcome.
You know,
it's past your bedtime, man.
Okay.
This is past your bedtime.
All right.
I don't have nothing else to say no more about environments. And I'm talking about
environment. You over there about as confused as a billy goat on AstroTurf that don't know what to do.
You know what?
Exactly. That's how you protect it, bro. I'm trying to. That's Pastor what I'm Edward, saying.
I blame you because I promise he didn't talk anything like this until you showed up in the comments. Therefore, it has been great with you guys tonight. Environment. That is the whole point of tonight's thing. When he come in the comments, you always act like this.
Pastor Edwin Strickland. Okay.
All right. Yeah. That's your pastor friend comes into the comments, and I'm talking about like all his wisdom just poof, he was
Man,
over here. I'm talking about dropping maize and nuggets right before you get here.
I'm
So
still dropping nuggets.
you started dropping lies because you know you called
Lord
all
have
of them
mercy.
phones looking for me that day.
Okay.
And now you gonna talk about the Lord love the gospel. So I hope y'all have enjoyed today's episode. It's been a while. I guess that's why we
Yeah.
went a little overtime. We enjoyed our time off um last month. And yeah, we looking forward
Hey,
to
get around good people.
yeah.
Get around good people. Stay around good people.
Fix your environment
Be
if it's broke.
intentional about being around good people, man. When you link up with some people, man, that you like, that you can do life with, be intentional about it, man. Don't bring that same negative energy. Like if I don't call them, they ain't gonna call me. Don't bring that. Just, man, be intentional. Reach out and try to foster those relationships. Because I'm telling you, I really believe that is the currency that most people don't chase.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That collaboration, those connections, that's probably, I think that's more valuable than anything else because relationships matter, right? Relationships matter. And I'm not talking about, you know, of course, husband and wife relationship matter,
Mm-hmm.
but who you do life with and how you interact with them, that matters. Like that matters more than that matters when your kids see you interacting with other adults. That's going to show them how to interact with other adults, right? How to host people, how to be a friend to somebody. Do you buy them a gift or do you not buy them a gift? That's way more important to me than any money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those friendships, man, those collaborations, those opportunities to grow together and see each other win. That's it, man. We want to put ourselves in a situation with a group of friends. It doesn't matter whichever way the wind blow, we go catch a breeze.
Absolutely.
That's all I'm saying. We go eat in the winter, spring, summer, and fall. It
Yeah.
don't matter.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I think you pretty much summed it up for us. We will we be back next week? I think
I
we
don't know.
can.
We'll talk about it.
We'll be somewhere in America, I think.
Yeah.
So are we? Maybe. Yeah.
It'll be somewhere with the internet.
Yeah, we'll be somewhere with the internet. So hopefully we could do another episode next week. But this has definitely been fun. It feels really good to be back in our podcast room, hanging out and having a conversation with amazing people. So thank you to everybody that tuned in this week. And hey, if you are interested, I think I'll create a group. I'll probably create a group inside of the Love and Business Facebook page. I'll probably do a group in there for the book that we're doing. It's Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. I recommend to get in the audiobook just because you can hear the different dynamics in the conversation. I did buy the hardback book, and they do have it's a action planner or something. I don't know what it's called, but I'll put the links and all that stuff in there. So if you are interested in joining the group, then you can put in the chat here if you're interested.
Or DM, however you want to do it.
Yeah.
We'll
I don't know. You maybe hashtag book club or something like that. Yeah, you can do that. Hashtag book club in the comments. And I'll shoot you an invite, and I'll probably also post it on the Love and Business page. So you'll have access to the Facebook group that I create. And yeah, if you guys want to join us in listening to that book and reading that book, I think our first Zoom call is going to be next Tuesday night. Is it?
I think so.
Is it? Yeah, maybe next Tuesday night we'll be doing the book club. I'm excited about it because I think this is it's gonna ignite some good conversations, and I think it'll create a really good environment.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So thank you guys again, and we will see you next week.
Absolutely.
Yeah.